Boy, it took a really long time for that to come up. Good evening. I wanted to jump on and first tell you that your story is important. Your story is important regardless of whether or not it is just like everyone else's, if it's different from everyone else's, if you expected it to be one thing and it ended up another, your story is still important. And I want to talk about this mainly because we in this community, and it depends on which community you're watching on, but specifically people in a community where they are isolated or lonely for whatever reason. It doesn't matter if it's chronic health, if it's um, depression, if you have lost your job, if you have lost a loved one, whatever is making you stay where you're saying, hello, I'm still here and I wish someone would see me, then this message is for you. This message is for you. Got a little tongue tied there. Hey, Rebecca. First of all, I want to tell you that there are there are things that you can think about, consider, or do in order to feel as though you're not just going through the motions or feeling like you're not just stuck in a rut. One of those things that you can do is, and I don't want you guys to listen to this and laugh at me and be like, if I could get there, Roxanne, I would. If I had the ability to, I would. Volunteering. Volunteering and serving others is so important because it not only helps the person or people that you're there volunteering for or with, but it helps you too. It's just like that saying that that I want to say it perfectly, so I'm like kind of stumbling over it, but it's more to that you give more to give than to receive. There's something in there that I'm missing, but I think you guys have what I'm saying. And it's true. Giving is so much better. It just feels better to be able to give to somebody, to be able to give someone help, to be able to give something physically, to be able to give someone a hand up. So that is something that you guys can definitely concentrate on if you're stuck in a rut and not getting out as much as you would like to get out. Think about concentrating on volunteering. The second thing that you can think about is personal development. I say personal development because there are a group of us who aren't out there in the workforce anymore. Sometimes just learning as much as you can, whatever you want to learn, is enough to give you intention for the day. I love reading books. I love learning anything new or anything that interests me. I have a friend, a dear friend who loves craft beer and he wants to learn how to make his own craft beer. I used to want to I said I used to want to. I still want to. I still want to take acting courses, but I used to get out and I used to act, and I enjoyed that immensely. It was something that would help me develop me. So when you get up in front of people and you're talking, whether it's giving a monologue, whether it's acting, whether it's teaching, that develops you, but you have to learn how to develop that skill. And that was something that interests me. That's still something that interests me. So I'm more than willing to do it. I love to do it. but find something that interests you and learn more about it. So I said books, hobbies, personal or even professional development, but also know that you can be something for someone else. I need to find a better way of saying that. That sometimes people don't expect for their stories to mean something to someone else. But if you go out there and you serve, say if you serve in church, and you're to tell your story to someone and what it is God has brought you through and what you have survived, what you were dealing with every single day. And someone else might look at it and be like, boy, that's a lot. I can never get through that. And they'd be inspired by your story. Be willing to share of yourself. I think we keep our stories to ourselves a lot. And when we do, we're not giving ourselves full credit and we're not giving it the value that it may be or may have for someone else. So let me tell you a story. Which story do I want to tell you guys about me? If I never share this story, someone else might go through this and think there's no way out. So, when I was first diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I really truly thought that it was just something that would get better. I didn't think of it as, oh, it's a chronic illness. It'll be with me for a very long time, hence the rest of my life. So I went out and just lived life the way I was living life, right? I had a car, I bought a condo, I had gone ahead and I had a great job. I had done all these things to that I was proud of. I had not come up with an emergency fund. I had not even thought about what is it, long term insurance. I wasn't thinking on that level because I just thought, hey, life is wonderful. Let me live life to the fullest. Now I was 24, 25. Let me live life to its fullest and do what I want to do because I can do whatever I want to do because I'm out on my own and I don't have to worry about anybody else. Then the symptoms of multiple sclerosis kicked in. I don't want to say kicked in as if they go away completely, but you have flare ups and sometimes things get worse. And things got worse for me as far as my mobility was concerned. Mobility, as in my legs weren't always under me like I wanted them to be. They were very fickle. So this condo I had purchased and loved, my room was upstairs. So I had to eventually like take myself up the stairs by crawling, like pull myself up the stairs. And when I was downstairs, I was in a wheelchair at times. I had I had a big problem working, so I had to get out of the workforce. I could drive because I was sitting down and I kind of, what's the word? I kind of just adjusted to what I was feeling. My legs were numb, but I could still move my foot from pedal to pedal. I could still drive the car. And I wasn't having problems at that time with coordination, but I couldn't hold a job. And I ended up losing my job and my house got foreclosed on. The only thing I got to keep out of all of it was the car, which to me was, I was happy with. But I had a hard time emotionally with that whole thing. So what I ended up thinking was that I wasn't worth anything. I couldn't live the life I wanted to live. Nothing was going to get better. and I just wanted to take my own life. Now, I had thought about doing it. I even had the pills in my hand to do it. And I say it was God just stopped me in my tracks because I just thought of my nieces and nephews and one nephew. So I tell you this story to let you know this. If you are on the MS page, you see that I post the times that my flare ups are not giving me as hard of a time, or I'm not having as hard of a time with my legs. So I might go out and about and do things. Or the presence that my grandnieces and nephew have in my life right now. Or the idea that 6 years ago I gave up driving. I didn't have a car because my coordination was so off. But what I want this story to show you is that things change, things get better. We can't always think about things being oh so bad and that they will never get better, they will never change, when in fact, even an illness like multiple sclerosis, in all of its chronic illnessness, there are flare ups, and there are times that those flare ups calm down. There are times when we might not be able to stand as long as we want to stand. But there are also times when things change. It's a weird disease. You could go to sleep one day dealing with something, and you wake up in the morning not dealing with that, but dealing with something completely different. Keep the faith, keep going. If I would have ended my life then, I wouldn't be here to see those grandnieces and nephews who make a lot of noise, but I love them dearly. In fact, their mother was my one of the nieces that went through my mind when I was like, I can't do this. And here I am so many years later. Here I am, 25 years later, 30 years later, and my grandnieces and nephew are here, and I absolutely adore being around. And they love me unconditionally. Things do get better and things do change. Don't count your story out because there's value in it. Even if you don't see it all the time, there is value in your story. For those of you who are stuck in a rut or feel like you're stuck in a rut and going through the motions, I have a lead magnet down here for your resource for you to be able to look at ways that you can deal with or combat your isolation or loneliness. And I want you guys to go ahead and pick that up. You can click on that, and that will be sent to your box. I just want us all to realize the value that we have, and that even if it doesn't seem like you do, there's someone out there who wishes that their story could be just like